What's up, you guys? Usually I start this by saying that was a common Bengals W or a common Bungles L, but I mean, it was just a very typical Bengals offseason as things sit here.
Hey, you know what? I'm actually slightly more optimistic so far this offseason than typically.
So as we sit here, it's what day is it? I don't even know what day it is.
Saturday, March the 28th.
March 28th. The irony is I'm filming a bunch of interviews at Squared Circle Expo, and this is going to be the one that comes out first because it's going on my Bengals channel immediately.
Yeah.
Common Bengals W. We got Crewe Day here. Lord Crewe, Sean, my good friend here. You all saw us here last year do the draft review, but the draft hasn't happened yet. They've changed the weekends around, but we have stuff to talk about. Bengals free agency, Joe Flacco coming back.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with that. Joe Flacco is back. Ideal scenario based on last year, I feel like.
I believe I said this. I don't remember if I said this on – no, it wouldn't have been on the draft recap because Flacco was a non-part of the equation. After things transpired last season, I walked away from the season hoping that the Bengals would re-sign Joe Flacco to a one-year deal and maybe draft a guy late and then allow him to sit under Joe Flacco's learning tree for a year.
Yeah.
And my thoughts on Joe Flacco is right now where we stand, it's better to have him and not need him than to need him and not have him.
Yes.
So
they also got Josh Johnson, which seems like they got him because they didn't think they were going to keep Flacco.
I think it was a safety net.
Yeah,
I think it was just basically a safety net, and I mean this is his third stint with the Bengals.
And it feels like he started more games than he actually has. When I looked back, I was like, oh, he really hasn't started that many games.
Well, it was only a few. Right?
It was a few.
Yeah.
But it's like he's started them in so many different years that it feels
that
like
it was so spread out. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it. Jake Browning gone to Tampa Bay.
Thank God.
Yeah, listen, I will always be happy about what he did in that 1 year.
Yeah, but what he did in the 1 year, but when it comes to football, especially Bengals, I'm very much a what have you done for me lately type guy. And boy, last year was rough.
And it took a long time for me at learning football to realize, oh wait, that running back that was really great 2 years ago and now is averaging 2.9 yards a carry probably isn't ideal.
Right.
And Jake Browning much the same way. It's like he even said he tried to play like hero ball, and I'm like, why? You had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to throw it to.
Yeah, you didn't need to play hero ball. All you needed was to just be serviceable.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that when we made the trade for Flacco, which I didn't even think would have been a possibility coming from Cleveland, I would have. Because there was talks that the Bengals were looking for a quarterback, and I'm thinking, oh, they're going to go after a Jameis Winston.
Of course, yes, everybody thought that.
Or something like that. Which
even Russell Wilson was out there available.
Those made sense to me. Flacco was not even on my radar of possibility because I was like, there's no way they're going to deal us Flacco from a division rival. But it's the Cleveland Browns, and they do everything wrong. So
yes.
So thanks.
I mean, uh-oh.
What the hell is going on there?
What is going on with my... See, this is what happens when I mess up my camera. So the red light is still on.
Okay.
I'm going to assume it's still working. That's just the way that... Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
So here's a fun fact. Yesterday, I had to Gorilla Glue my camera to the tripod because the tripod messed up. So as long as that red light is on, we're going to rock with it. We're going to rock with it because as long as it's recording the memory card, I'm all right.
Yeah,
but
man.
Joe Flacco, I mean, listen, good contingency plan because the unfortunate reality is Joe Burrow is injury prone. Like,
as much as we hate to say it, I mean, it's
no
the
way
reality
to avoid
of the situation.
It is the reality of the situation. Jake Browning out the door. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the memories.
Good luck in your future endeavors.
Yes, enjoy Tampa Bay, backing up Baker Mayfield. Good. I hope he does well there. But the Josh Johnson thing is kind of interesting. I'm like, I would imagine he gets cut before the season starts.
I could see that happening,
and then
too.
we'll get signed somewhere else, for sure.
Yeah, sure. Because, I mean, he's that guy. He's the journeyman nomad that just bounces everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So, look, our viewfinder came back,
it's
still recording.
Hey, look, we're going to just roll with it.
We're going to rock with it. So, like, what about the defensive additions? Because we came into the season, or the off-season, probably needing to re-sign DJ Turner, but they'll probably wait till the last moment. We needed a veteran DB, or at least a credible DB, because Geno Stone sucks.
the worst.
He's bad. He single-handedly cost the Bengals at least 2 wins, maybe more. Maybe more. They needed a linebacker, a veteran presence. They needed 1 or 2 edges, we don't know.
Right.
And some defensive line or some defensive tackle help. How did you feel they did?
I think that they have definitely hit some of the spots that were glaring needs. I think signing Brian Cook was massive.
Yeah.
Because when you I saw a tweet that I think summed up my thoughts on it perfectly. I think, the greatest addition to the Bengals this offseason has been the subtraction of Geno Stone.
Yes.
And bringing Cook back to Cincinnati, he played it for UC. He's got connection to the city. And, my stepbrother is basically the U of UC Sports.
Yeah,
He's the inside baseball guy for UC Sports. And when I texted him about the signing, he was like, man, I'm thrilled. He's like, he's a great kid on top of being great on the field. So hopefully that, some good character in the locker room's a nice boost. The guy finished his tackles, which Geno Stone couldn't do to save his life.
Yep. That was like the biggest thing. Like they had to make tackles, and they had to get people that make tackles.
Yeah, I mean the guy's been there. He's 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Winning culture
guy. So he knows what winning feels like, and I feel like that's probably his expectation.
It was, the balls on Geno Stone when he got signed by the Bills to say, I needed to get back to a winning culture. I'm like, MF, you're the reason we had a losing culture.
I never tweet at athletes and stuff because obviously there's a reason why you're in the league and I'm not. But I couldn't resist. I quote tweeted that and I said, bro, you're worried about a winning culture, just finish a damn tackle.
Yeah. If you watch the Common Bengals W shows when he got signed, I saw those 7 picks and I go, oh my God, that's great. Then I watched the 7 picks and they were on the worst passes you've ever seen in your life.
That my grandma with dementia could have picked those.
Yes, exactly. It's like they just fall into his hands and I go, oh,
okay.
And then the first few months of the season, absolutely no output. Then December rolls around and he all of a sudden starts playing. And
when
then,
it's basically too little too late.
Yeah, and then last year, it was just horrible all season. They needed, I've been saying for 2 years, they needed a veteran DB. Had they legitimately just went and got, it was Stephon Gilmore, they probably would have been in the playoffs 2013 or 2023 and 2024.
Yeah.
1 win's all you need. 1 play is all you need.
Yep.
Last year they needed a little bit more help, but there were definitely 1 play.
But even regardless of all the hiccups and all the craziness that happened last year, they were still in it. Weirdly, right until the very end. And it's just when we look back at last season and a couple of the losses, I went to, I think, 3 home games last season, and 2 of them were the biggest heartbreaks I've ever witnessed in person. I went to the Jets game and the Bears game. That Bears game was the biggest emotional roller coaster of my entire life. And, when I look at those games, Joe Flacco in that Chicago game, that offense did everything they could to close that game out.
Yep.
And the defense just could not give us the absolute bare minimum. And I believe that's one of those games where we can directly look at Geno Stone and say, you caused this.
Yes.
Because he got absolutely torched by Loveland.
He did.
And it's just bro, I just need you to just wrap a guy and bring him to the ground. He tried too much to do that little patsy, just bounce off of him with his shoulder.
Knock him out of bounds.
He's not a big guy.
No, he's not.
So it's dude, when you're trying to hit a dude who's a solid 260 out of bounds, moving full speed, you're not going to do it.
So how do you feel about the edge situation? Because it's rough. Miles Murphy took a giant step up. That was great to see.
I think he was probably the biggest enhance of play that I've seen last season. Where he ended up at the end of the season versus where he started was such a huge jump, and it gave me a glimmer of hope for moving forward. But that's typical Bengals fashion too, where they like to draft guys who they think are going to be good in 3-4 years
instead of production immediately.
Right. And I think that's a big thing going into this draft is they can't do that again this year. They have to go for somebody who they need to go for a Caleb Downs.
And sometimes it works, like Amarius Mims. They knew he was talented, but he hadn't played much.
Right.
And it worked. But Shamar Stewart did not work last year. In fact, he didn't even show up to work most of the time. He was hurt a lot of the time.
He was hurt a lot of the season, and it almost makes me wonder, had he had more opportunity to get reps, would it have looked a little better for him? Hard to say, but like maybe he'll get a better training camp, because I mean last year he had all that contract stuff going on too, so he was sitting out a lot of camp.
Which has been like, and listen, that was more on Stewart in his camp than it was the Bengals, I feel like.
I believe so too.
But we lost Trey Hendrickson, and for the amount that he wanted, and honestly his output last year, I wasn't hating it. It's just
I wasn't hating losing Trey either, but I just hate that we got nothing back. Nothing.
Like, hopefully a third next year. I mean, maybe. Do you really want him to tear it up in Baltimore? No. You kind of don't want him to.
I don't want that at all.
So it's one of those situations where I'm like, I don't really want a third-round comp pick.
To be completely fair, though, I think I'm more okay with Trey landing in Baltimore than the Max Crosby trade going through.
For sure.
Because, dude, having to deal with Crosby, Myles Garrett, and T.J. Watt 6 games a season would have been – we're just talking about how Burrow's, a little injury-prone. When you have 3 of the top 5 edge rushers in your division, that's scary.
And what the Bengals especially needed, they needed some run defense as well. And Trey Hendrickson was not that. Great at landing sacks, great. But again, while he played last year, his production halved. His TFLs, his pressures, his sacks, like when he was on the field, it was half of what it was. And every year there was some drama involving him. He wanted an extension before he was eligible. After signing a team-friendly one, he wanted to sit out. He wanted to trade. He wanted all this. It was time to move on, and I'm okay with that.
And what kills me, too, is that he ended up taking less than was previously offered to him.
He could have had more.
He could have had more, and he could have stayed where he claimed to love so much. And But speaking of run game, his name is escaping me at the moment. Defensive tackle we just got from Minnesota, Allen.
Jonathan Allen,
dog at stopping the run.
So
that was that was the second point that I was going to make about the Bengals attacking a few of the key spots that were severely lacking last year, was that they replaced the hole in the secondary, and then they also replaced that hole right there at the interior defensive line, which I feel like just they were getting eaten alive last year. And it was always on when a team needed 4 yards, they knew where to get it.
Yes.
And it was just go on the ground, run it right up their, like right down their throat, and they were going to get it every time.
It is so disappointing when you see it so often. There are 3 particular scenarios where it's like 3rd and long, they're going to do a slant over the middle to the tight end.
To the tight end,
and
in no man's land. There's not a
picking it up.
soul in sight.
If they need 3 or 4 yards, they can run it right up the middle, gaping hole. If it's late in the game, and the game is on the line, you heave it up to a wide receiver, and they're taking it 60, 70 yards to the house.
That's exactly what they did in the Bears game with Loveland. They just hit him right on that same route we were just talking about, and all they had to do was just make a play.
Yeah.
One play, and that was just too much to ask. And
still a gaping hole at linebacker.
Yes.
We do have Boye Mafe, who can play both edge and linebacker, but Barrett Carter was not good last year. None of our linebackers were good last year.
Listen,
but
I was pretty high on Demetrius Knight last year.
Same.
I think he plays his ass off.
Yes, he does.
I wonder.
And we need our young guys playing early.
Yeah, but the thing that I really appreciated about Demetrius Knight was wherever the ball was, he was chasing it.
Yes.
I don't feel like he ever took plays off. Like, he was like, oh, I'm not going to get to that guy. Who cares? He was constantly sprinting, playing to the ball, and I like that fire. You know what I mean? I feel like with reps, once he gets a little more comfortable in the NFL, I feel like he'll be a much better ball player than he was last year. But I definitely I'm all in on D Knight. I think he's a good dude. I think he's got that like grit about him. Like, I don't know if you watched any of the the stuff they put out about him. Like, dude was like, because he was a young father. He had a kid in college. raising his child, like door dashing, like after
yeah,
practice and stuff
yeah.
to just like, make ends meet for his family while still grinding it out on the field. And like, it's guys like that you want to root for, you know?
For
so
sure.
like
a universally praised signing, Dalton Reisner, back on a 1-year deal. How can you not love him, first off? Not only he, his wife, who is a social media star, we're both like, we want to be back in Cincinnati. Don't want to hit free agency. Don't care what anybody else has to say. We want to be in Cincinnati. And fortunately, they made that happen. And Dylan Fairchild is clearly the other guard. This gives Jalen Rivers more time to develop. They need to find their center of the future at some point. But
sure,
they re-signed Orlando Brown, which kind of surprised me. But they got Dalton Reisner, and you can tell who knows ball based on how they talk about the Bengals offensive line now.
100%.
Yes.
Because I've seen that argument tried to be made so many times, like trying to torch the offensive line. And I'm like, that was not the problem last season. They were like top 10 pass protection offensive line.
They didn't
like,
allow 3 sacks one time since Joe Flacco came to town. We used to pray for times like these.
And here was my thing, is like everyone always brings up, if they're so good, Burrow wouldn't have got hurt. I'm like, there is not a single quarterback in the NFL that never gets touched.
Never.
And like a turf toe injury is just like a freak thing. Like I've had turf toe from wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's literally just your toe bends weird and that's it. It's like it's just a freak thing, could happen to anyone, could have happened on any play. And it's just unfortunate that.
And isn't it wild? Because you saw the 2 injuries, Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow. One had surgery, and they said, well, he's going to be out until mid to late December. Brock Purdy, they're like, oh, he'll be out a couple weeks. They were like back within 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
And you just never know, especially with these freak athletes. But if you hear somebody saying, oh, their offensive line is bad, they don't know ball.
That's it, 100%. And that's what I bring. I always just, whenever somebody says that, I've just started commenting casual.
Yeah, because once Flacco hit town, the line was solid at worst.
Because let's just call it for what it is. Burrow is a much more mobile quarterback than Joe Flacco. And the fact that he wasn't getting just murdered, that tells you everything you need to know. Because Flacco's not known for being a mobile, scramble and run quarterback.
But he was last year, buddy.
Hey, he had a couple where I was
down.
like, that game where he ran for like 8 and got the first down, dude, I came up out of my seat.
I love it, and that's why I want him back. And it's funny because, like, obviously Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen, but there were things that I saw Joe Flacco doing, and I'm like, Burrow could actually learn. Just throw it at the ground, pull the Lonely Island,
100%,
and throw that cupcake on the ground,
buddy.
That's
one of my biggest gripes about Burrow is that he tries to do too much sometimes, and it's just like, you get 4 downs.
He'll get sacked out of field goal range a lot.
You get 4 downs to get a first down.
Yes.
If something's not there, bro, just get rid of it. Try again on the next one. Like your receivers are good enough. And I know we kind of just started touching on Flacco again a bit, but like that's another guy that's like, how do you not root for that guy? Like it's just I've always admired Flacco from afar for the caliber of talent he is, but I never really paid that much attention until he got in stripes. But watching him talk in these pressers and stuff, it's like the dude he's just a dude that loves football.
Yes.
He just loves playing the game of football. He loves being around the guys and just like being, even if he's just that veteran presence, like people can learn from. That's awesome to have. And
can't wait for him to go into the Hall of Fame with Bengals hat on, buddy. I've never seen somebody who has played won so little with the Bengals, and immediately the Cincinnati fans are going to love him forever. Forever.
I thought about getting a Flacco jersey last year, but I was like, man, I don't know, because this might be the only time we see him. But now that he's back, I might revisit the.
I love it. Crewe, tell the people where they can follow you.
At Lord Crewe Kills on all social media, or you can find me on Facebook at Lord Crewe.
This is becoming a tradition every time here at Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis. It's a great time. I get to talk to this gentleman about some football. Until next time, my friends. We're out.
Go trade for Max Crosby.